Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How y'all doing? My name is Amy and today I'm going to give you a little tour of my new plant shelves. So I did ask on Instagram if you wanted to see a video just showing my current winter setup and y'all said yes, so here it is. I've been unhappy with my plant winter setup for quite some time, but I didn't want to do anything about it because I will be moving in the next couple of months and I didn't want to get something temporary. I wanted to hold off and get the shelves that I deserve, the shelves that I really want, which of course are the IKEA shelves that everyone has with the glass in the middle. And but they will not fit in this space, so I was kind of holding off for that reason. But I got impatient and I didn't want to wait anymore, and things just weren't happening as fast as I wanted them to. So I decided to go for a cheaper kind of interim solution that was maybe not as aesthetically pleasing as the IKEA shelves for now. But honestly, I'm way more impressed with them than I thought I was going to be. They look a lot nicer than I expected and I'm really happy with the setup. My plants, I think they're going to be much happier with this kind of a setup. So yeah. So I'm just going to give you a little tour about who's on the shelf, where they are, what's the setup, and yeah. Okay, so on the top shelf we have Epipremnum aureum, or your typical golden pothos, or jade pothos to be honest, because it doesn't really have any variegation, this one. This is a cutting from last spring, and yeah, she's doing well. She's in the corner here because it doesn't get a huge amount of light and she's not very picky with that stuff. Next up here we have my Cordyline fruticosa mambo, which has very dark foliage and pink on the edges of the leaves. That's shown in my Houseplants video. I love this plant. Doesn't require a huge amount of light either because the leaves are like black. Next up here we have my Ficus elastica tuniki top cutting from last spring. It's pushing out new growth that's smaller. That's likely due to winter growth, but that's fine. She seems happy and she's well rooted. Here we have a relatively new addition, which is my Philodendron tortum, which honestly is quickly becoming one of my favorite plants ever. I just love the way this looks. It really reminds me of Jurassic Park, which is one of my favorite films ever. So it did have some shipping damage when it came to me, but you know, it's all very minor. This leaf was emerging when it came, so it's a little bit shitty, but it's fine. She's doing well. Cataphylla is healthy in here, so I'm happy with that. She's at the top here. Next is my Philodendron micans, or Philodendron hederaceum var hederaceum. I frickin' love this plant. So this had thrips recently. It doesn't have a huge amount of damage on it, to be honest, but you know, I think I have it under control now. This is a beautiful heartleaf velvety philodendron. This is a really great dupe for all of the more expensive philodendrons that we all wish that we had. I'm not one for spending an absolute fortune on plants, but this does it for me. It's absolutely beautiful. I love. Next we have Monstera species Peru, which is also called Carstinianum, I believe. We've had a tough time, not gonna lie. It was in a terracotta pot that started growing mold on the outside of the pot, even though I keep this plant very, very dry because it has very thick leaves. Doesn't require a huge amount of water. This is a new leaf actually. So she wasn't doing that well. She wasn't very happy, so I've changed the soil and put her in a new pot. you know, maybe a month or two ago, and she seems happier. She's not growing any new leaves out of the existing kind of stalks, but she does have these little new shoots coming, which is fine, you know, she's fine. I think she just needs a bit more time. She does have some leaf damage. She got dropped and then my dog hit into it with a ball. So it's a very scaly, weird plant, but I love it and I hope that it does get a bit happier here. Here we have a small Peperomia obtusifolia variegata cutting. I absolutely love the variegation on this one. This is a cutting I took last year from my bigger plant, so she's doing well. She's well rooted. I don't know why I did it, but I like it. So here we have one of my pride and joys. This is the plant I worry about, the plant I think about all the time. This is well, we don't even know what she is. Think that she's a philodendron species affinity sagittifolium, which has a new fat leaf that's just about to come out here, which is very exciting. I've shown this plant many times, but this is a cutting that I got from an unknown philodendron outside in Italy where I got married, and I took it home, and yeah, it's growing quite well. It took months and months and months and months to root. And the first leaf that it put out when it did root, this really sad malnourished leaf, which is, you know, it's all curly, it's not fully green. After that, I waited for some more roots to form in the water and gave it a small bit of organic fertilizer in the water, and then I potted it up. Then this was her first leaf after being potted up, which I was pretty happy about. And then this is the next leaf after that, which is much bigger, as you can see. And then we have a new leaf coming, which should be out in time for Christmas, so I'm very excited to see it. And I wonder, is it going to be even bigger, or is it going to be the same as this one? But I absolutely love it, and I think it looks really great on this shelf. Third shelf down, we have quite a few more. We have two Monstera adansonii here. This is just a plant that I took endless cuttings from last spring and just ended up with so many of them. I think I have to stop now, but you know, I kind of go in and out loving this plant and then hating this plant, but right now I kind of love it. You know, it's a classic really, and it grows super well. Sometimes it just has a bad day and it's like, I'm gonna make some of my leaves yellow for absolutely no reason, which is kind of annoying, but you know, I don't get too upset about it. I just wait for them to fall off and then it does quite well. Yeah, I put these two together. I think they look really nice, and don't mind if they're too close. This is a fairly recent addition as well. This is Alocasia zebrina, which I've wanted for quite a while. We got a brown tip going on. Still figuring this one out. I'm not sure if it really likes water or if it doesn't. It's doing okay. It's just one leaf. The stem is this really cool pattern. And yeah, that's that. Here we have a very sad and confusing cutting of Calesia repens, which is a gorgeous little plant that I really thought was a Tradescantia for quite some time. But it's so weird, like it grows really, really well, really fast, loving life, and then all of a sudden it browns loads of its leaves and then it's back to this. Like, it's been doing this for months now and I don't really get it. But you know, I'm keeping on to it, seeing what it does. Back here we have our little humidity tent for my Begonia luxurians, which I'm really afraid of, but is doing quite well, to be honest. It does get some browning tips, but I know that that is a fairly common problem with this plant. So if I lift up the little humidity tent here, you can probably see its new growth is a bit smaller than the leaves that it had before, but it's growing and I'm happy about that. Some of the leaves do get brown and crispy and fall off, as you can see there, but as long as it's still growing and it's not dead, I'm fairly happy with that, because as you may know from my last dead and dying plants video, begonias don't really like me very much, so I'm trying with this one. The humidity little tent does seem to work well. Here we have my wonderful, another one of my total favorite plants. is my philodendron squamiferum, which has a new leaf that's coming out here. And if I can show you this, I absolutely love how the little hairs come in, all green and little small and cute on the new leaves. So this is a new leaf it's putting out. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. This one was there when I got it, so it's pretty damaged, but you know, the leaf shape does kind of differ a little bit in between them. I really like this shape leaf. This is its newest leaf. I think it's such a gorgeous plant, and I love anything with hairy stems, to be honest. It's a love it or hate it kind of situation. Some people really hate the hairy stems or petioles, but I love them. I think they're really cool, really strange looking. So down here on the bottom we have another Peperomia obtusifolia, but not variegated. A couple of cuttings in here. Also had thrips. It's recovering now, but it's lost quite a few of its leaves, so it looks kind of shit. Doesn't require a huge amount of light, to be honest. It doesn't enjoy super direct light, so it's okay down here. Next up we have my Pilea glauca, which, as you may have seen before, was much more full, had many more leaves. Oh, okay, Lua, just walk past. It used to have way more leaves. It was much thicker and bushier, but I underwatered it twice in a row, and loads of its tiny little leaves just fell off, which was kind of upsetting. I think that this plant definitely is not enjoying the winter heat as much as my other plants, my aroids and stuff. So we're trying to keep it going. It's still doing okay, but I'm going to keep a close eye on it now after all of those leaves just falling off in one day, which is kind of sad. Here we have my Hoya polyneura, which I absolutely love. Any plant that I super love, I'm kind of afraid about because I'm really afraid of killing it. But this plant is actually a very easy Hoya to take care of, in my opinion. It's a lot thirstier than other Hoya because, well, its leaves are much thinner, so I presume that's why. So it does require a bit more frequent watering compared to others, but it's really beautiful, and it's growing quite well for me. I found it quite easy. Obviously, it's always easier with a thicker plant, and there's a lot of different cuttings in there, but yeah. She's beautiful. It's also known as fishtail Hoya for very obvious reasons. Down here we have my Scindapsus pictus exotica, which I love. Super easy to plant, to take care of. Don't really have to do anything other than wait for the leaves to curl, and that means that it's really dehydrated and needs water. But other than that, I just leave her here. She doesn't really like direct light, but she's happy down here, and she's beautiful. She has such cool markings, and this newest leaf has much more silver in it, which I'm really happy about. It's gorgeous. So that's it really for this shelf. That's all I have going on here. I also have artificial lighting set up here that's actually facing the plant shelf, so they do get artificial light. This is part of my kind of winter setup, I guess. It does get dark here at like 4 p.m, so it is keeping my plants growing a lot more than I normally would during winter months. This is the second plant shelf that I have going on. So I got two. This one's in my bedroom underneath the skylight, and this, I can fit way more plants this way. I do also want to show you that I do have a heat mat this winter. I did invest in one. They're relatively cheap actually, but I have quite a lot of plants going on here on this heat mat, but I thought I might as well show you because I guess it's part of my winter setup. So heat mats are great for growing roots. Roots need heat in order to grow better. So any plants that are, you know, not doing so hot, or any propagations, I have on the heat mat. So here I have some Ceropegia, linearis subspecies woodii, and the variegata ones as well. Growing here. I have some cactus seedlings that I planted in August, so they're here. I have just some heartleaf philodendron here in the water. I have some Monstera standeliana cuttings there. I have my outdoor coleus cuttings here, Epipremnum pinnatum. This is my Anthurium arisae myoides that I actually won in an Instagram giveaway. This plant was beside a plant that had thrips, so I was quite worried that it might have it. So I kind of gave it, I guess, a partially preventative soap bath, and it didn't fucking like that at all. I've never had experience with a plant reacting really badly to insecticidal soap. Just soap, just like normal dish soap, and it totally crisped up and lost 2 of its lower leaves. So that's really fucking sad. This leaf is still alive. It's incredibly crispy, but it's still alive, so I'm just leaving it there, being hopeful, giving it some heat with the heat mat. It might help it to push out another leaf. We'll see, it happens. I've never had a bad experience with a plant and dish soap. It's such a fairly mild substance, and I've never had a plant have an adverse reaction to that, so that's kind of sad. Here I have another Adansonii cutting. I have a Peperomia caparata that's doing really bad. My Philodendron squamifera that was shown in my Dead and Dying Plants video, still not doing so great. I have it on the heat mat to see if it will help anything. Just to show you this, it's a little nubbin. It's not doing, it's a little nub at this stage. I'm really not hopeful for this anymore, but it's on the heat mat just in case that helps. This is a Thanksgiving cactus cutting from last year that took ages to root and finally rooted. I might give this as a present to someone yet. Maranta kirchoviana cutting that I took when mine got thrips and I was really worried about it. So this is all planted up and doing fairly well. Here I have my Hoya rotundiflora that I got fairly recently, and it didn't enjoy my house at the very beginning. It was in a fairly thick coir kind of substrate, and I think it was overwatered. So I put it into my own mix, kept it in the same kind of net pot, and it seems to be doing better. It did lose a couple of leaves when it was in that old mix, but it seems to be doing a bit better. I have it on the heat mat because I'm worried about it. In this cloche we have some leaf cuttings from my Begonia Black Fang that are actually just in moist soil here. And I keep it in the cloche to keep some humidity up, see if we can get some roots on these. And finally here we have my Hoya carnosa crinkle 8, which is another sad show, got thrips. You can see what the thrips did to it. It almost made it look like it really needed water, like the leaves got very thin and wrinkly. The ones at the back are doing much better, but it's fine now, it's thrips free, but it does have some damage. So I have it on the heat mat to try and help it recover a bit. So this is the other plant shelf. We'll go through this fairly quickly. This is Ceropegia linearis, but the spades cultivar that has kind of pointier leaves. This is just the normal subspecies woodii. Just a couple of cuttings in there that I'm going to add to with my other propagations. Here we have a recent purchase, which is a Hoya bella, and it's doing okay. Well, it hasn't done anything, so I guess it's doing okay. No bad reactions, no good reactions, so we'll see how this does. Back here are my coleus seedlings that are doing pretty well. I have shown these on Instagram a couple of times and they really like the grow light. This is my Tradescantia nanook. The new growth is doing okay. Its old leaves do have some kind of crispiness going on. I'm not totally sure what that is. It could have had thrips, but I am treating all of my plants, so I think it's okay for now, but it's an ongoing process. Here we have my Ceropegia linearis subspecies woodii variegata, which is a mouthful. Love this plant, doing super well, enjoying the grow light. Here we have my Philodendron verrucosum, which is fairly new. This is its newest leaf, which is small, but I'm pretty happy with it. It looks very healthy. And oh god, I'm just so excited for this plant to keep growing and give it a moss pole and hopefully get big leaves. These 2 leaves were damaged during shipping. This one's very damaged, but it's fine. It's only cosmetic damage, really. Here we have a Peperomia caparata Napoli lights. Same as all my other caparata, are just not doing well this winter. Here we have Epipremnum aureum marble queen. Really enjoying the grow light. You can see the difference. This is pre-grow light and this is after grow light, and its newest leaf there is very white. yeah, we've had a journey, this plant, but I think it's doing pretty well now. Down here we have Philodendron Brazil, also enjoying life. Really nice plant, another Philodendron hederaceum variety. This is my Maranta leucanora. Again, getting a couple of yellowing leaves, could be just winter. It could have had thrips, I'm not sure, but we're keeping an eye on everything. And just here in front of the shelf, I may as well show my Anthurium clarinervium, which I absolutely love. I mean, it hasn't really done anything. It's put out 2 inflorescences, but no new leaves. But it's fine. It's beautiful. I love it. And that's just here in front of the shelf. So that is my shelf tour. So that's what's going on in my current plant shelf winter setup situation. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving me a like and subscribing down below. I would really appreciate that. Stay safe, enjoy your plants, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.